Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Friends of Mortgage Heroes. I'm Andy.
I'm Will.
And today we have CJ Johnson with us with Lifehouse SD, which encapsulates many different things. So I'm going to let CJ kind of like enter us into the water and explain all that, because I know pre-show you were telling me a couple things you're interested in or that you're involved in. You got your own show. You're doing real estate. I found out we got a bunch of friends that I didn't know you knew and you didn't know I knew. So let's give us kind of the overview. Tell us, who is CJ Johnson?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you. So Lifehouse SD is focused on ADU development. We primarily focus on architectural design and permitting.
Got it.
So that's our main focus. We've evolved into a resource to the community. We're connected with loan officers, Title 24, structural engineers, civil engineers, basically landscaping, whatever you would need inside of real estate. You need a real estate lawyer. We can provide for you as a source. And we don't you can use our guy, we're going to tackle on our... No, it's just like, we just want to be of service to the community in some kind of way. And so, yes, our primary focus is architectural design. We do have a license, a general contractor license inside of our company, so we could do that as well. But we love working with general contractors, especially the ones that's what they focus on. They focus on construction. I want to work with you because that's your focus. Our construction side is like secondary.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited to have you, and thank you so much. I'm so honored and privileged to have you here. We have heroes of friends of Mortgage Heroes, and the reason why we create all this is because we want to give back to the community. We're all about giving back, and then here comes CJ, which is he's a veteran. And we work with a lot of military. So we're like so passionate with them. And to see our veterans transition from the military into the civilian world, obviously there's skill bridge, there's different programs they help it. But bro, you just kind of made leaps and bounds. Like you took a whole different approach, and here you are, you created your own company. You have so much knowledge in San Diego. That's why I'm so super excited to have you here, because ADUs is like that gold rush, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Back in the day when it was a gold rush, everybody would go to the mountains. You got to go everybody was they knew how to go get gold.
Yeah.
Well, here in San Diego now, our gold rush is like these ADUs.
Oh yeah.
And CJ knows he has the proper tools how to go get that gold, right?
Yeah.
Like you see the piece of land for what it is, what I think it is, and then you just make it look like, oh no, you could put like 40 units right there. I'm like, well, CJ, hold on, wait a minute, bro. I don't want to build 4 units on this right now. 40 units. I mean, it's like, I don't have that capacity, right? But these are when you have the right people like you that understand these rules, regulations, and just have this wealth of group of people surrounding you, you're just able to give more information to the homeowner or to the investor on what we are able and capable of building. So thank you. I know that was, I probably should have done the intro right here, right?
Yeah,
like
thank you.
This guy, man, this guy, I'm excited for it because I know I myself have done a few ADUs.
Yeah.
I'm doing another project, and it's just like, I'm excited to have you. Like I need to learn more. I'm that sponge right now.
Hey, I love it. Yeah, I really enjoy the educational part, like informing the community on like zoning regulations and ordinances and things like that. So I actually just like reading it, and understanding it. But I think that was from the military side, honestly. Like a military side, there was a culture growing in the military because I started when I was 17. Right, and the culture was, well, that's the way we always done it, buddy.
What branch? Wait a minute, determine what branch.
I was in
Navy. Okay, all right.
So that's the way I was like, okay, well, that's always. Wait a second, the regulations say that we should be doing this and this and this and this.
Yeah,
and not what you're saying. We always done it, and they're like, okay. So there's a lot of pushback, with the old culture and the new culture and things like that, and at that time, and I'm at the very end of being a millennial, right? So the generation before us was like, that's the way we always done it, right? And like, wait a second, we have the internet now, buddy. Like, take a look at this really quick.
Yeah, and TikTok. Look, this TikTok.
we got more knowledge than we even can have the capacity of holding right now. So. Our generation, we really looked at like, wait a second, why do we do this? And I like to bring that into the next generation as well. Just like with whatever I do, I tell my kids, like, hey, this is the reason why we do this, and this is the reason why we don't. And here's the source to that.
Yeah.
Because they need to know. I mean, they're so smart. They have the capacity to learn everything. They have the resources.
Yeah.
So if you don't tell them what it is and where you get it from, then they're going to like, and they find out that it's not really that, they're going to be like, You know what I mean? You know how
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
Before you go somewhere from that, I want to like take a pit stop because I think that that unique skill set you're describing is what is the most unattractive part of real estate to most people is the details of like, well, what's the regulation say? What's the?
I just want to get it done.
Yeah, well, right, because look, you're talking about he's sharing this vision. Oh, you could put 40 units right there. Like, great, that's amazing vision. And usually everyone's so caught up in, well, what can I do here? And then what's the end result look like? What's the dollar signs at the bottom at the end of it all look like to me? And they want to jump past, skip past, hurdle all the stuff that actually matters to get that done. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be like ripped. But like, I don't want to go to the gym.
I don't want to gym.
I don't want to. Wait, what do you mean? I go like every day. I gotta eat right. I gotta sleep. Like, actually, hold on. Let me write a couple of those down.
Yeah.
Okay. So eat, sleep. No. Yeah. But like that's important. And so for people watching, what's important is if maybe you're finding yourself as the complement of that. We're like, hey, I don't like that. Cool. You got CJ.
Yeah, you got CJ. I don't like that.
Thank you.
I'm glad you like that.
But that's a strength. That is a for sure strength because that is exactly someone's weakness. I'm not going to point at anybody in particular. I'm not going to point at anyone in particular. But the thing is that's what gets the deals done. Yeah. That's also why you and I are complements in a lot of ways too here at the business.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what made you want to get into that? I mean, he brings a great point. Like, how?
Yeah, so I mean, I took a lot of the stuff that I learned in the military, like a lot of the strengths, and I observed the weaknesses of myself and others, growing up in the military. Yeah. And I was like, dang, I got out of the military, I have my retirement coming in. I don't know what I want to do now. I was kind of at a standstill. A lot of veterans go through that.
Of course.
They go through this like...
I go through that. I'm not a veteran,
Yeah, everybody goes through that, right? So veterans, especially the ones that were like me that joined at 17, it's like your whole adult life is military.
Right.
Right? So you don't know what you don't know about the real world.
The other stuff.
The other stuff, just regular, normal society in America. So... I started going to school full time. I got involved in church, and I was like hesitant to go to church because I was dealing with a lot of depression and stuff like that. And I got there, and I was, on a lot of drugs and alcohol and things like that. I was detoxing in a Bible study, and the guy's like, "You okay, CJ?" I've been there, done that.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
This is
That's
at Rock
crazy.
Church. This is at Rock Church.
So he said with Miles. Okay. Well, not with Miles, but Miles. Miles. Yeah, Rock. Okay. Yeah. So this guy is saying, I know what that looks like because I've looked at that before. I've been that before. I've seen that.
I've been there. Yeah. So he's like, "You good? No, you're good, man. You gonna make it through this." And I got really encouraged by that. Yeah. It took me. It wasn't overnight, but I got off of all the drugs and alcohol, and I realized like I was just destroying myself. Wow. I was like pushing myself down. So I became. I went from not wanting to go to church at all, becoming a pastor. I went through the PST program and the Rock, and then I looking at my pastor, I was like, I think I'm supposed to start a church. He's looking at me like, and he's like, all right, So I started a small church called Gathering Grounds, and then COVID happened, everything shut down, and one of the guys that were from Awaken Church, he came up to me, he said, "Do you know this guy named Kalani? He has a brand new building in North Park, and he's opening it up to the community." I said, "Really?" And he's like, "Who's he opening up to?" He's like, "Small churches." So we started meeting up at his office in North Park. I'm not gonna say his company name, But,
they're a small competitor.
Yeah. I love those guys, man.
They're very good.
I love them. So
and Kalani's a great guy too.
Yeah, he's awesome. So I'm like, dude, this guy just opened up his building in the middle of COVID. I want to do whatever he's doing.
That's cool.
I want to do that. I didn't know anything about design and permitting or anything like that. So that's how I got out. I was their first full-time employee for his company, and I learned so much.
Wait, you were?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't know this, but before that started, there were conversations between him and me that existed about this whole concept that he's now running in the parking lot over here at like Starbucks.
Oh,
Yes, talking about veterans getting into this line of work and
nice.
doing that route.
Yeah.
And it's not the origins in its infancy, but like the idea that he was sharing with me happened right over here in Eastlake, and as it did for him in a lot of other places after Men's Prayer one day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
It was super cool. Just I love the fact that I was like, I'll take whatever you can give me, minimum wage,
Wow, you were the first guy there?
Yeah, first
Get
full-time.
out.
First
That's
full time. There
crazy.
was a part-time guy before me, but I was the first full-time.
That's
wow.
crazy.
Okay. See, look, I'm learning something brand new
No,
already.
that's one thing I wouldn't expect that you even say, right? Like I see CJ, he carries himself like I'm very successful, which you are. You have your beautiful family, your wife, so you sharing this, like really, you're putting your vulnerability out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just, we all think like everything's always handy dandy, right? Like everything, well, CJ makes it look so easy. Like life has always been like that.
Yeah.
So I could appreciate that you're sharing that because we all have our ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to take it that you going to church and putting the family first is just what's carrying you to be, where you're at now.
Yeah.
And you're always smiling. That's one thing that you have is just so contagious. Every time I know when I talk to you over the phone, I'm already smiling because I know you're smiling, which is nuts, right?
Yeah, I love smiling because it's just like my perspective shifted, It's like you have so much things to be grateful for. I woke up this morning, I'm like, my kids are beautiful.
Nice.
My wife's beautiful. We live in San Diego.
Yeah.
That's the smile right there.
Right there.
Just right there. That's it.
That's it, man.
Man, I'm using this sun emoji all the time.
No, that's super dope. In the things that you're doing and why we wanted to get you here is so that we can help our audience understand what you're doing and the importance of it. Some of us look at it like, well, I could do an ADU, but I just don't know where to start, how to get it going, where to get it financed, who to call, And now we know that's what we want to do is provide resources to them. So share a little bit, like what does that look like now? You're going to this new job that you went to with Kalani.
Yeah.
And here you are. Obviously, that opened up the doors and break that down for us.
So what happened is early on, everybody was sitting at home during COVID. So there was a lot of people that like looking at their house like, whoa, shoot, I should probably do something with this house.
So true.
They're just sitting there like, man, we need to renovate it. Can we make some cash flow for this? So all this other stuff came in. Sorry about that.
So
guys.
true. No
You're good.
worries.
Look at that, a new ADU call right now. You guys, there's a $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 call. He's like, I'll call you back.
I'll do it later.
That's
That's how cool CJ is. He's like, $200K? Nah, I'll give me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are funny.
Yeah.
So we were just like, oh shoot, this is Kalani had a really good thing going, and so we figured that we were going to have to be at the forefront of learning the ordinances from all the cities.
Yeah.
Lemon Grove was the same as National City,
Right.
the same as Chula Vista. So we had to learn all that.
Yeah.
We put together little books and manuals about their regulations and things like that. So a part of the, making sure that you're the subject matter expert in ADUs is actually reading the ordinance.
What's an ADU? I'm sorry.
Accessory dwelling
There we
unit.
go.
Accessory dwelling unit. And so now what I focus on is, City of San Diego. I kind of know that like memorized it.
Yeah.
But other cities, I really like Chula Vista and National City right now for development as well.
Okay.
They're pretty cool.
What's the reason behind that?
So timelines and availability to talk to the city when you have questions.
Okay.
National City always answers their phone. You can go to their office. And they have a little kiosk in front. You can ask them questions if you don't understand something in their ordinance. Chula Vista, likewise, they updated everything. So now it's not like printing out physical copies of plans. It's like electronic. So you submit it electronically now. So everybody's upgrading and updating. They're catching up to like City of San Diego, who's been doing it online for a while.
Got it.
So that's why I like those cities. Other cities are not as easy like Lemon Grove. You have to print out the physical copies, the 5 copies.
Yeah.
And they have after they have reviewers outside of their office, so you have to wait for those guys.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy. But what I like to focus on is lot feasibility based on the zoning, and the zoning is developing more and more each month. It's changing
all the time.
Yeah. I was just doing a County of San Diego, unincorporated County of San Diego feasibility study last week. And the zoning was RU, which means rural. It's like a rural residential zoning. One house on it. I looked it up. They have a planning district overlay for VR24. Means you could build up to 24 units per gross acre.
Got it.
What?
Yeah. In the middle of
24 units for gross acre?
Yeah.
With what? Is there a height limitation?
There
like
is.
in feet or stories?
Yeah, there is. There's a 65-foot height restriction on that one.
Okay.
But I mean, there was 2 stories as well.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of
Yeah, you can fit. It's an acre. You can fit quite a bit.
There was a bunch of development in that area already, and I was like, how do these guys do this? How's this?
Wow.
How are they 10 units and 6 units, and we're only at 6,000 square foot for the lot? How does that work?
Yeah.
And so looking into it, like, oh yeah, they're trying to make sure that we have more development. So the city acknowledges, the state acknowledges that we have a housing situation.
Yeah.
And we need more housing.
Yeah.
So they incentivize things like ADUs, and the ADU return on investment, like I said, is like if you do put just one ADU on your lot, my ask is that you take a look at that garage long and hard, because you're just putting a bunch of junk in there. Chances are you put
It's storage.
It's
just storage, right?
All you need is another little tough shed in the back.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
I'm glad you brought that up, because actually we have one of my good friends who happened to allow us to represent him on the purchase of his own home here in Sambo. His name is John Paul. I'm not going to say last name, but John Paul, he reached out to me. He's like, Will, I see this whole ADUs and I see what you're doing on yours. Like, how do I get that? Right.
Yeah.
And I go, well, bro, we're like, pretty much in a PUD area where you really can't build onto the property. So I go, use your garage. How often do you use a garage? He goes, I don't care. It's just storage. And I go, exactly. Good job. That's why I was like, good.
Yeah.
And you already know it's a 20 by 20. So that's 400 square feet.
Yep.
And when we do a 2-car garage, when we see an appraisal, what I was telling him is you're looking at the value. The appraiser's going to look at it like anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000, right?
Yeah.
But if the going rate is per square foot is going 500 and you just added 400 square feet, right? 20 by 20.
Yeah.
That almost gives you $200,000 square footage more towards your house, right?
There
Subtract the $30,000 that the appraiser will give you.
Yeah.
You made $170,000 on just converting the garage.
That was good math, brother.
Right? So after he did the garage, he rented out for $2,000.
Yeah.
Well,
One bedroom, one bath.
Yeah, one bedroom, one bath. That's it. And it was great, bro. Kitchen. It had a double stack washer and dryer. So he really couldn't visualize in the beginning. So I said, no, go get the permits.
Yeah.
Do it legally.
Yeah.
He did. Because it was in the garage, he had to get a special engineer to see where the rebar was on the ground to make sure you don't hit one of those that pops up, right?
Yeah.
It was about another $2,000. Long story short, it cost him $65,000 to do that,
Exactly.
CJ. Right, around $65,000. He has it rented for $2,000. And when we did the math, I want to say his cash on cash, you're better at math. So it was 2,000, 24,000 divided by that's your annual, right? 2,000 times 12, 24,000 divided by what you paid to get your cash on cash, value. It was like 33 or 34%. Like, what stock pays you that much right now? And if it does, it's really high risk. Here, we already know that in 3 years, that asset's going to pay on its own. Yeah. And now you're just, and that replenish all your funds.
You just got to keep a person in there. As long as you can keep a person in there, keep the shelter up, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that we maybe sometimes combat in the I'll say the pre-sale and talking with somebody like, okay, should I do this? Should I not? But then there's the other part where in the comments box, there's lots of people like, well, I would never do that. It's fine. We're not telling you have to.
Yeah.
You can comment that you won't, but there's a ton of people that are.
Yeah.
you go make your money your own way, but there's a lot of people that are having this conversation, like, how can I leverage my garage and convert it?
Yeah.
Or this little space I got over here.
Yeah.
The city lets me build 24 units on that spot. Like, we
Well,
got to seriously consider that.
The guy that I talked to about that feasibility study, he said, this is life-changing, CJ.
Yeah.
I was like, it is. The cash flow based on funding the entire project, his if we did, I don't know how you guys are, where you guys are at interest rates right now.
Oh, they're high.
They're high? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
7%, you know.
Okay, even at 7%,
Yeah.
this guy would have been at $20K a month funding that project, and the cash flow was at 35.
Come on now.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, you're cash flowing every month.
And that's with
Oh,
higher
so
interest
his-
rates
his-
right now, right?
Yeah.
his
that's
net,
what the higher.
his net's 15 grand a month.
Yes, he's yeah.
Come on now. That's more than retirement.
Yeah.
And then, Andy, we got to keep in mind that that's with current interest rates. When those
The
go
current,
down, then
yeah.
you're going to be able to
Well, sure.
refinance just like you can
Well-
any other
well,
type of loan.
Not just that, not on the saving side, but then you have the cost of rent going up over time
Going
too.
up,
So
yeah.
if rent's going up 3% per year,
Yeah.
or even
And
let's
this
say
was
three
in
for
a
easy
rough,
numbers.
This was in
Yeah.
a rough area. This was in like County of San Diego, close to Spring Valley.
Still.
area.
Okay.
And
Rents
he was
increase?
still making.
Wow.
But here's the deal: even if you have 25% vacancy, just over the course of the year, kind of a rolling 25%, because you got people moving in, moving out, or whatever, like that cash flow is definitely there. That's crazy, man. That's
I'm an advocate of like wealth. So like the wealthy don't do a lot of their own work. They delegate a lot of things, and they value time over money. Your average person values money more than anything. So what they do is they say, "Oh, I'm going to work a lot. I'm going to work a lot, and I'll get all this money because I'm working." Right?
Yeah.
The delegation part is just you working smarter, not harder. So I'm a big advocate of property management. So get you a good property manager that you can communicate with. Yes, you're going to have to pay the property manager, but if they're good, they're going to get you higher than the average rental rate. So you're not even going to see.
They're your partner, essentially, is what it becomes.
Exactly.
And you got to look at it that way. And it's not costing you.
Right.
Realistically, the tenants are paying for that.
Yeah.
it's coming
Giving
off
you
your
the
P&L.
luxury where you don't have to worry about
You don't
it.
have to worry about
It's going to come off your P&L. I don't want 24.
Exactly,
I don't
there you
want
go.
24 people calling me.
No.
I don't want that. Like we had this conversation with Peter Carlson, one of our very early guests. He's a property manager. It's like his thing, and he's like, "Yeah, we got a couple hundred doors. I'm getting a couple hundred more." I'm like, I don't want a couple hundred problems. Like, I'm glad you're doing that, because I would not want to be in that
Everybody
position.
plays their part. Everybody plays with it. Like guys, what you guys do, I don't want to do what you guys do. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's
my
like,
wi-
hey,
my wife
you guys
thought about it.
you guys
My
are
wife-
idiots.
My wife thought about it. She's like, well, maybe I should become a loan officer. And
Don't do it.
And she's looking into the paperwork, and she just like, no,
thank you.
absolutely
Pass.
not.
maybe not.
But just like us, I don't have the time to go look into, understanding the rules and regulations. You just said earlier they're changing every month, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're saying they're changing every month, is it changing in the favor of the homeowner and the investor, or what are you seeing?
A little bit of both. Like Santee, I have an agent that I'm a real estate agent, but he's also a friend of mine. He's like, CJ, I need help with my ADU project. He is looking at like development impact fees that were waived since 2019. They're back in effect this year, January, and it's $30K per ADU.
Oh, dang.
So they saw the trend, and they were like, we can extend this, or we can take it off and make some money. And the city decided to take it off and say, hey, you're going to pay development impact fees per ADU. So that means if they do 2 ADUs, it's $60K.
60,000.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Development
crazy.
impact, because you built something in the community, so you got to pay for it.
Well, that's kind of
we've-
a way to
we've-
discourage people, right?
Well, it's partly that. Just sorry.
You don't want to get political.
No,
on
no.
me,
The
but-
the speculative part of me is like, ding, ding, wait a minute, hold on a second. But I know that we've had off camera. We had and you said this on the show before. You're talking about I had to go to the school district and pay this tax for the elementary school. I had to go do that for the high school, and so I understand. Are they wrapping all that in there, kind of thing, or
No.
you're saying in addition
This is
to
in
that,
addition to
they're
school
also
fees. Yeah. This is it's like I said. There's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff. Now, City of San Diego, they do have a lot of fees as well, but they haven't pushed the development impact fee thing. Wow. But yeah, I mean, I think that.
Thank you for helping us solve our housing problem. That'll be $30,000 per door.
Investors are gonna start liking some of the stuff, because there's City of San Diego's just opened up complete communities, which is like you're only allowed to build this many ADUs unless you go past that and build 20 units. Then we'll let you have a bigger floor area ratio where you can build up to 20 something units now.
Okay.
And now
Okay, so there's some give and take that can come with. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
mean, they know nobody's gonna want to develop unless there's incentive.
that's why I'm sitting here. I'm listening to you, and I'm like, why would they do this? This is disincentivization.
Well, here's the other thing. They make it seem like every city you're with, they're all different. The Chula Vista, that we're making it seem like, come build an ADU, encouraging the homeowner to come and do it, right? But they're making it seem like, we're waiving all these fees. But when you go in there and you start doing it, there's no waive fees. I mean,
you want to buy a watch?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was like that. But once you're done with the whole design, you're done with the engineering, you're done with paying the school district fees. In our case, we have Chula Vista and Sweetwater.
Yeah, both.
So, one charges way more than the other, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So in my project that we're building, it's under 1,200 square feet. It was like $36,000. With the design and everything all together. So some people don't have that kind of dough right there,
or it comes from the house. It's got to come out of the house to just go do its own work, if you will.
Exactly. But on the back end, what we're seeing is the reason why investors they're like, I don't want to do 1 or 2 ADUs. I want to do 6 ADUs.
Well, right.
Is because they're seeing the bigger return on investment.
Yeah.
Well,
and
it's
if you're already
long-term
starting 2, you might as well just go, right?
Yeah,
it's a long-term play. There's still enough demand. I mean, even if the numbers were just kind of tossed around at the table, that still doesn't even absorb all the demand that's in San Diego. Number one. Number two, for people like we talk on our own podcast all the time that they just aren't qualifying and they can't get approved. They don't have another solution but to rent right now. Right. And so, and then I'm going to forecast this a little bit with the new rule change that you can now sell an ADU separately from your primary home. Yeah. That will allow, let's say, the entry-level home to come back to San Diego, which has kind of been extremely elevated in price.
Yes.
What we call an entry-level home here in San Diego is not $250,000 or $150,000. We're talking like 700, 750.
It's up there.
So for people who aren't there, but what I'm saying, for people who aren't there, but they have the chance to buy an ADU separate from the main thing. I don't know who that is, but it's okay. I don't know.
Sorry.
But they can buy an ADU separate from the primary house. I think that's going to be a great way for people to, let's say, obtain ownership and get in at an entry level price.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be valuable. That is, I was a little skeptical at the beginning of like, why were they doing this? Then I'm like, I kind of get it. I understand there's going to be taxes that come from that, things like that. But I think that's where you're going to see that return to San Diego eventually. Or I'll say the county because it's in different parts of the city.
Yeah. Well, we're diving in way ahead with this. Maybe a lot of people are like, what the hell? They're crazy. They're like, these guys are nuts.
If you're this far in the show, you really love ADU talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I get
ADUs.
it. They get it. Most of the people won't get it. So, like, when you're talking to a homeowner, do you deal more with homeowners, investors? What would you say is who you're dealing most with right currently?
Currently, I'm dealing with mostly investors.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, because what they're looking for is that one-on-one, that's my ADU guy.
Yeah.
And we kept our company really small. Even with the success, we were like, let's keep it small and let's provide a first-class treatment.
I like that.
And it's just the reason why is because there's so many companies out there like, we do ADUs, we do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you guys do your thing. I'm going to stay in this lane, in this circle that I know what I know what people want already. And I always heard the investors, and I have a heart for real estate investing on a personal level. So I was just like, let me focus on this and kind of tune to the frequency of real estate investors.
Got it. Yeah.
And we do have like residential clients, and they, what's cool about the residential clients is they'll shout you out on Yelp and stuff like that. The investors never say anything.
They don't got time.
They don't say anything. It's like, thanks, CJ. Good job. All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a lot more impactful and life-changing, you would say, for like a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
Something because it almost seems like it's not even attainable.
Yeah.
And then when you help them understand it, it's like it makes a huge difference. So when you're meeting and you said you work with just regular homeowners.
Yes.
Can you take us to the process? Like, what does that look like? Right? What's the first thing that you would do?
A lot of times I start off with educating the client because it's a lot of money to be invested in your property.
Yeah.
And your property is like, homes are like very sacred to us as humans. It's like that's our living place.
Yeah.
That's our place where we let it all down.
We decorate it to our liking.
Yeah,
he likes pink. I don't like pink color.
So, so we have to like educate them first on the process and how long it's going to take. You know, all the fees associated, all the oh by the ways, and then we put them at ease by showing them the return on investment based on the rental income in their area.
Got it.
So that's how it starts off usually.
That's great. And so obviously you take a look at the land, you tell them what they're able and capable of building based on your knowledge, expertise for that city.
Right.
We're going to say it's here in Chula Vista. You design the work, what you're able to build. Like, let's just say you're able to do 2 ADUs right there. They're going to be 2-bedroom, 1 bath stack, you know.
Yeah.
You give them these plans. How long does it take before they get these plans?
So the initial part is the schematic design. So that's the site plan and floor plan.
Okay.
And that only takes about 4 weeks. And then the design development, which is that full set of plans, like 10 pages long or whatnot, that one takes like 6 weeks, somewhere around there.
Got it.
But it has everything you need in there, all the verbiage that, you know, the city requires, Title 24, et cetera. You know, most of the time, the clients have, like the residential, your mom and pop clients, they have a big vision. And I'm like, dude, I love that. Let's do that. But you know, these materials they're gonna cost
inflation.
more. You know, they're gonna cost more. So you can do like the investors, they already know. Make everything durable. Make all the walls white and laminate vinyl flanks, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they are. And
Exactly.
They already know what's up. But you know, the residential clients are like, what if we did, you know, the center floor, like, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm like, yeah, we can do that. But you know, make sure I gotta
budget.
keep you in budget here.
Yeah.
And that's a part of my role. It's a little bit of coaching too.
Yeah, that's
but I can hear you like kind of telling people like some of these maybe let's say preferences or like design treatments might be a nice touch to the place too.
It would. I had a client recently. He actually gave me a Yelp review, and his parents are retired, and they're you know they have it. He has a house in Ocean Beach.
Okay.
And the ADU is going to be the below is going to be garage, and then the top is going to be where his parents stay for the summer, basically. Or I think it's the winter. Sorry, for the winter they're going to have a winter ADU house in Ocean Beach with ocean views.
Cool.
You know, and I remember just the mom was like, yeah, well, my back hurts and I can't reach down all the time, and I need to raise this. She said it like 3 times, and the guy goes, I'm sorry. My mom was a little drunk when she was on the call with me, and I was just crying. I said, I love your mom, man. She's amazing. She's awesome. Like, I had a blast just working with you guys, So I love working with those residential clients too, because I like stories,
of course.
People personally like the stories behind the families and things like that.
That's super cool.
So it's cool. So you're talking to 4 weeks, do the design, another 6 weeks with putting the actual plan. So you're about, let's just say 2.5 months.
Yes.
And then how long does it take the city for them to start approving it? Because I know they have a third party that actually reviews the plans as well.
Most of the cities do have third party reviewers. Most of them do. But the state mandates that they have 30 days to review.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like I'll submit, the full set of plans. The city has 30 days to respond. Usually they respond less than 30 days and get back to me.
Okay.
We take the review comments. They'll say, hey, change this, move this, whatever they have, requirements. We fix it. It usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks to fix everything, unless it's a huge job.
Yeah, correct.
And then we submit it again. They have another 30 days.
Got it.
So my garage conversion, usually I don't go beyond 2 sets of review comments.
Yeah.
So my garage conversions, they're pretty quick. They're like 3-4 months.
Got it.
Ground up ADUs, like 1 or 2, you're talking like 4 to 6 months, somewhere around there.
Gotcha.
And if you're doing like 6 ADUs and up,
that's a different story.
Yeah, we're looking at 1.5 years from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough out there, but it's just because, like you were mentioning, they're tacking on additional requirements.
Yeah.
So, you're developing. Like, I have one client, I didn't know this. I was like, what? That's news to me. We have to pave the sidewalk in this area just in front of us because we're developing 6 units.
Dang.
My sister-in-law's
What?
situation was kind of
Yeah.
like that out in La Mesa.
Yeah.
And there is no like sidewalk.
Yeah.
The city actually doesn't have a sidewalk on
Yeah.
this side of the street. Like,
Yeah.
oh well, if you're going to convert your detached garage over here, then you also have to redo this front part of the street.
Yeah.
You're like, but that's you.
That's the city.
that's your stuff.
Hey, we pay taxes here,
Dude.
Where are they going?
And they're like, well, but you want this. You want
Don't
this.
make it
you want this-
political.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm
want this
trying
permit
not
stamp,
to.
right?
I'm trying not to. But I just. Whew,
I know.
Yeah.
Calm down.
You want that approval? Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta build that little sidewalk for me.
That's pretty cool. So we're
Great.
talking about anywhere getting permits with all these things, anywhere from, would you say it'd be safe 5 to 7 months?
Yeah, so I would say 5 to 7 months. I like the overall timeline to be like a year, start
Yeah.
to finish, so that their expectation is a year,
Yeah.
and then I'm finished before that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Hey, if it's a year, then it's a year.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff plays in consideration for that. Like, for example, if you're doing your ADU project over the holidays, like the Christmas and all that. And that city is shut down.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You ain't getting your nothing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
I think that's called the 11-month calendar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You go
yeah.
January through November, and
Yeah.
we'll see you again in January.
Yes, you're right.
December, I structured my business to maintain what we have in December.
Wow.
Just maintain
That's very
what
smart.
we have.
Yeah.
That's,
Word
that-
to the wise. Take that advice.
I mean, that's great information, right? Just give yourself a year, and then you got another, I'm going to say 4 to 8 months to build.
Yeah.
Depending on the contractor. So always, it's very important that you have that team already.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You got to make sure that they're already vetted up front. So if
Yeah.
you have a good contractor you already know
Yes.
that is going to be responsive, so important with that.
It's honestly, to me personally, the contractor, the GC is more important than your design team to
Yeah.
me, you know, in the city and all that, because that could be a easy pivot. You know, you can call the city, hey, what's going on? You can call your designer, hey,
Yeah.
what's the status of this? But if your contractor doesn't know what he's doing, or he just, you know, takes your money and dips out, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know, you got to
Yeah,
do a
wow.
whole legal proceeding. I have a friend right now. He's just got framing up, contractor to, you know, $200K and left.
Wow.
Ooh.
He's just got framing up, so he's finishing his job
Yeah.
on his own.
That's the
That's
thing.
some expensive
that-
wood.
So it's very important. Like I know when we do the financing with these things, we do the draws. That's why it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times people think like, oh, I'm gonna go get an equity line of credit,
Yeah.
right? And they have their own money. And what happens is they miss the information that they should be giving these things in draws.
Yeah.
Right. The contractor says, I need 100,000, and they're like, oh, okay, well here's 100,000, like your friend, and then they go. No, it's so important that you pay them based on the stages of work
Yeah.
that they've done.
Yeah.
What you want them to do is have a contractor that, let's say you're putting foundation and plumbing, they're able to cover that cost.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you pay them that draw, that's to replenish their costs
Right.
for the next stage in the work that they're gonna
Yeah.
do, right?
I love that. Yeah, it's one of those things where yes, you want to have some trust in your contractor because they're gonna be at your house for a minute, you know.
Yeah.
So you want to have some trust there and have some rapport, feel comfortable with them. But you actually have to, you know, it's the same situation with the property manager. You kind of have to like distance yourself and keep it professional as well. Hey man, you know, I got another job over here. You know, mind if I come back in next? No, absolutely not. This is what your
I
contract
got
says.
timelines.
Yeah, I need this timeline. I need this done by this time.
Yeah.
And so I just
Hey, you know, next month is December. I was wondering if I could come back in a year and a half.
Absolutely not. So absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then, you know, I know that the contractors that I recommend, they're coming from you know, Lifehouse. So I have to make sure that not only are they licensed, bonded, insured, but I have to make sure that they're good fits, like personality wise.
Yeah.
I need them to have humility. I need them to be genuine.
Yeah.
I need them to be transparent and just say what it is.
There
If
you
it
go.
is if it's $350K,
Yeah.
then say that. You know, I'd rather you say that than try to like, oh, we can do 300, and then you know you're
No,
you
whenever
know.
they come like that, please, that's a
Yeah.
red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag. No, what you always want to do is like the way I do things is there's my budget. I mean, there's my plans, and they give me, you know, in stages of what that budget should look like and what I'm going to be paying out for everything. And at that point in time, if I need to go shop that with another GC, then I'm able to do that,
That's
right?
right, yeah.
So it creates that full transparency right there. Now you know exactly what you're going to pay. So later if they come with, oh, foundation was 15,000, now I need 20,000, like, nah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
So first of all, I think that comes. I would imagine that comes from a lot of your experience and background in the military. It's like, no, just tell me what it is. Even if it's, let's say, less than favorable news or information, you got to tell me what it is so I know what we're dealing with. Number one.
Exactly.
So funny little story about that. A friend of mine, Manny, who was bidding out a deal last week. He just told me this Wednesday. He's like, so I'm bidding out on this ADU build and I'm against these other two GCs. And I'm like, and the client looks at me and they're like, hey, why is your bid so high? And he's like, it's because I included all the work. Because I included all the work, and one of the massive missing components was replumbing and like digging the ditch from the sidewalk to where the ADU was going to be to upgrade and bring to current all the electricity with SDG&E, and like all your other bids, in case you didn't notice, didn't include that. Like that's why my price is my price. So it's not high, it's accurate. Those other ones are low, and they are not including the piece that you didn't know you needed.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Wow. That goes a long way. That's the contractor you use right there.
That's right. Yep.
The one that caught that. The other two that didn't catch that.
Well, because the number looks good. Oh wow, it's $10,000 cheaper. Maybe that's the guy I'm gonna go. Guess what happens? You're gonna say yes to that, and then you're gonna get to that point in the job, and they go, oh hey, by the way, I need $10,000 more now.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah, exactly.
That's a hard lesson to learn firsthand.
It is.
Don't learn it that way. Learn it from this. Learn it from these conversations. Don't learn it out there on the street by yourself.
No, that's awesome. And I'm glad that you brought all that up because those are things that we don't understand. We just kind of look at it and okay, no, like it's important to understand all these steps, which I'm glad that you bring. And I also like the name Lifehouse.
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you come up with that one?
Lifehouse came. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. So Lifehouse came from my journey from being in drugs and things like that, into coming to the light and experiencing life in a different perspective. And so I got it from biblical foundations, where you're going into a house. Their house is your body. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. So something comes in your house and renews it, revives it, gives it life, instead of more death with its pills and all this other stuff. So that's where I got it from, is like God giving life to this temple. Even when we were doing renovations on our own house, it just, you could feel it. It's like, oh man, it's nice here. Like, it's way different. Before that, it was just like, chaos in this house, So it's still a house.
Yeah.
A house is a house. We already know that. But the vision is, let's go into this house, let's go into this property, let's go into this lot, and just give it life.
Nice.
That's the idea.
I love that. I love that. What a great parallel, and what a great way to, I'll say, encourage an interest and draw interest into doing something that has purpose behind it, more than just, I'll just build the thing. Like, no, we're building the thing with an intention. I really like that a lot.
Thank you.
A lot of respect for that.
Intention, purpose, and then you're really putting your stamp of approval right there.
Yeah.
And you know what's cool? I'm glad that I've never asked you that question, right? But I ask it because, and now I understand it. So now you sharing that, now I know when you go to that piece of land, now I know why you see what it's meant to be there, you know? I'm thinking, I'm going to put 2 ADUs, and you're like, no, it's 40 right there. What?
Yeah, because it's this big difference between, okay, what am I seeing now, but what is it supposed to be? Yeah. I mean, in life, there's a lot of parallels in life like that. Okay, my life looks this way now. What's my life supposed to be like? Exactly. Like if I give up of myself, or I give of myself, and I yield to a greater plan. Yeah. What looks like right now, maybe that's not what's supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be something more grand.
Yeah, exactly right.
Love that.
And
love that.
Yeah, same. Hey, applaud to that. Big time. And what you're doing, it is changing people's lives. It is changing investors' lives. You're giving us these ideas and putting things in perspective of what we're able to do. It's just going to shed that light, like, okay, and give us that hope and opportunity that we can really take advantage of,
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that you see these things. And I'm just so glad that you take your business that serious, because a lot of times we do our job. We're just doing our job to do our job.
Going through the motions.
So I'm just glad that you joined the military, and I'm pretty sure you were very successful in what you did there.
I had
you
fun.
know?
I got out.
I
As a
had
chief.
fun. There you go.
You did 20?
I did 14 and a half.
Oh, 14 and a half. Okay, got it.
But I got out as a chief, and I had fun.
All
They
right.
gave me my retirement and all that.
Wow.
So, yeah, I had fun, man. I was a young 17-year-old kid, first duty station, Japan.
Oh, really?
Okinawa
Yeah.
Really?
or
I was in Yokosuka.
Yokosuka.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear nothing but good things when people
Oh
come
my
over
goodness.
there.
It was crazy. It was just like technology was way advanced. You know, people were way nicer. I was
Yeah.
like, everybody's very like, you know, bowing to. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I need to bow too. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it was just a different world almost.
That's
You know,
awesome,
it
man.
It was so great. And I like I said, I love those years, and they gave me a lot of like foundation of where we're at right now.
Yeah. You take care of your family. They tell you, hey, I have your 6, right? I got your 6.
Yeah.
You know,
and,
so-
and that's another thing that I'll close out on. You guys, what you guys are doing, just bringing people on here, that's so inspiring because it takes away from the robotic, you know, I'm just going to work and I'm checking in and I'm checking a box and let me do my thing and check all the numbers and all. Like, it takes away from that, and it says, you know what, these are people that we're in business with. They have lives, you know, they're inspired by things, you know, they have goals.
Yeah.
So I love that you guys just, you know, yes, you are subject matter experts at what you do, but you bring people in. And that is so inspiring, man.
Thank you, man. I say that, and I think it's because I grew up with the Care Bears. You know what I mean? We care. So, you know, being that it's old school, many of you millennials wouldn't even know who that is.
Like, what is a Care Bear?
Yeah, I'm a Care Bear, man. You know, no, you know, that's the whole goal of this. Is Friends of Mortgage Heroes, you want to breed true industry experts like yourself that are going to inspire that homeowner, that are going to inspire that investor. There's a lot of investors that are just doing fix and flips, right? And they jump into this opportunity, they just see it as one thing. But if they surround themselves with people like yourself and us, they'll be like looking at that piece of asset differently because we're able to help them maneuver and help them understand like how they can keep these properties. I use an example. Earlier, we met with Emiliano, who does fix and flips, young kid, phenomenal kid. Yeah. So I told him about this contractor that I work with that I've been working for the last couple of years, and he's done over 200 flips. Oh, wow. You know? And he didn't own anything. But because of the expertise of how I understand DSCR and I understand exit strategies, now he has 3 properties.
Oh, you told me about that.
Right?
Yeah,
and that feels
cool.
so rewarding to me because I'm like, bro, how's it going? Like, he was all excited. I just got a nurse midterm, tenant in one of them. Nice. And he's just like, first we thought like, how are we going to rent these properties out? Like, I don't think we can do it, you know? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he's got one, he's building 2 units in the back of one. We gave him the finance for that. Did the other one, did a cash out DSCR. Like,
what do you guys see on the back end that I'm not seeing with creative financing with ADUs?
You know, it's
That's
really
a great question.
It's a really good question, and I mean, and it's not rocket science. It's just really understanding again, like you understand your market of what you're able to build on this lot. Mm-hmm. We got to understand what we can get of market rents for that property. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's going to be that loan amount? How are we going to take that? So with that information, which is it's there for all of us. Yeah. You know, now we just kind of do like a little case study on it and see where he's at.
Do you guys include that into the purchase? Like, it's like, okay, your intent is to buy this house and do an ADU, or is it kind of like wait a little bit and then we'll...
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times it's wait a minute, but in this case with John, he's a fix and flipper, right?
Right.
So he just looks at a fix and flip, and I'm like, pump the brakes right there. It's a fix and hold.
Yeah.
Right? It's a fix and hold. Right?
Yeah.
So in his case, he was able to buy the property for $500, put $100,000 of his own funds. He didn't use us to do that project. But he put that in there, and then I'm like, no. Let's refinance it through a DSCR, and let's keep that, and they do a cash out at 75%, replenish some of your funds, right?
Yeah.
So you could do other projects. So the value came in at $980.
Oh, wow.
$980. He's at $600, right? So we ended up doing a loan for $600 and change.
Right.
He recuperated what he spent, $100,000 and some.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was like,
Gain
bro,
the
and the
equity and
rent,
got cash flow.
exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
And the
Amazing.
rents are covering more than its payment. He's still
Right.
cash flowing like $800 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and he's like, "Why didn't I do that?" I go, "It's just sometimes we don't have the right people."
We don't have the resources that we need.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
there's a like a real good connection point between what you're really good at in the details and knowing like all the regulations and the rules and all that, and like there's that part for us too.
Yeah.
Whereas like, well, if this program allows for this, well then it allows for it.
Yeah.
Okay, well how does that then open up opportunities for me on the business side of talking to someone about an ADU?
Yeah.
I think that maybe we commonly run into some of the same maybe objections from people, like, well, I don't want to displace myself for 6 months, or I don't want this or that, or it seems too risky, or oh, I'm too old. Like they come up with reasons not to.
Gotcha.
But I think really what is the opposite of that is people going, this is my way out.
Yeah.
This is my way out of or not out of my job, but out into my next stage of life.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to have X amount of money to be able to retire, or I want to have enough financial flexibility, then this is the way to go do it. Or if they refinance and they got those golden handcuffs and they're like, oh, I got a 2.5%, I'm never
Yeah.
leaving. Okay, fine. Then
Yes.
you're never leaving. Then what are you going to do here?
Right,
Because
right.
you could just keep that 2.5%, and that's fine. And most people come down to desires. They don't want to do an ADU. They don't want to do a garage conversion. That's fine too. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But I would be willing to bet a lot of the same objections, or we face a lot of the same objections when it comes
Exactly.
down to it.
The way I look at it is just like anything in life. You're in the military that long, and you're going to transition out from something you're so used to and comfortable with,
Yeah.
because you already know it. You know
Yeah.
the know-hows, and you know where to go.
Yeah.
Right. And so I attribute, and why I love working with my military is because they grew up just like me. We went into the military because we had no other choice.
Yeah.
That's the family that we were dealt with, right? And so we use the military or whatever we have to do to help us level up in certain ways. At least some of us do.
Yeah.
Because you also have those other people,
Yeah.
right? So you're in there so long. I attribute, like, when you're buying your home, like, you need to surround yourself like who's gonna help you transition into that typical mindset of just buying a home and living in there.
Yeah.
But how do we change that and help you level up to create that generational wealth?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Right.
Because I mean, CJ, would you agree with me? As your kids, you mentioned you have little ones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is it going to get easier or more difficult for them to finance a home when they're ready?
Oh, way more difficult.
Right?
Yeah.
So with this whole ADU, with this whole knowledge, like, how do we facilitate that process for them by us
Yeah.
getting ourselves in the trenches,
Right.
you know, really getting it done, so they understand that, like, oh, it tells that work. Now, how do I implement it and even be better than my dad, CJ, here?
Hey, I would love that.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's the whole goal. You're saying your daughter, 10 years old, she's already coding.
Yeah, she's coding.
Like, you know what I mean? But that's what we know we're doing our jobs right when we're helping this next generation carry on.
And honestly,
so it's that transition
a
out.
lot of it is the resources. Okay, I like the code. Okay, let's put you in Code Academy. Cool.
Yeah.
And she's just like, you know, skyrocket. I'm like, dang, you went past your training here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some more advanced stuff for you. You know, and you know, it's like that. The kids loved what they love, and you just kind of. I've noticed that a lot of wealthy people they like homeschool their kids nowadays because they're like, am I teaching my kid to be a leader or a follower? You know, and my kids go to public school, but I teach them every single day. Hey, this is what you got right now. Here's your resources. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? You know, you let me know, and I'll give you the resources.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do it. I'll give you the resources though. But you're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier, right before the podcast, it's like you like what our boy Chris said about the daughter wanting, oh, you want an Escalade?
Oh yeah, Chris Aguilar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. That inspired me so much that I'm like, yeah, you guys, I'm gonna teach you everything ground up. If you want something, let me know. We'll work together to get it.
There
know,
you
we'll figure
go.
it out.
Heck yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the way to do it, you know, and that's
Yeah.
that's why this, you know, we're talking earlier. That's why we want people like you here. Hey, you're active. You're a veteran. There's hope.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different
There's
ways.
a lot of ways we can get this thing done,
Yeah.
you know? And so we just want to inspire and encourage people like, you can do it. Just give us a call,
You
right?
guys are already doing it. You guys inspire me, first of all.
Awesome.
Both of you two, Andy, like,
Thanks.
You guys are like all of this, everything you guys are doing is just like, man, blowing me away.
Ah,
You
that's
know,
awesome,
It's blowing
dude.
me away. So my hope is that everybody watching comes to them for their expertise and their knowledge. Ask them questions, call them up. Have a conversation. You were so nice to me. You like, hey, CJ, I'll take you out to dinner. I'm like, oh man, this guy is so. Sheesh, I need to get on that level.
Yeah,
it is like that. That blew me away, and it tells a lot about your character as well.
Yeah. I love seeing success, man. I love seeing you sharing your stories. A lot of times they see us and they just think everything's been easy.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have 3 daughters. You have your beautiful wife. You guys are both entrepreneurs with your business.
Yeah.
I know CJ is not that easy.
Oh, it's not.
Right?
It's not.
And
It's
you
a grind
share
every
that.
day. Yeah.
And I love that vulnerability out there because we're all the same way.
Yeah.
I've been through those and I still go through them at times. At times I'm still confused what the hell is going on, But this is where I'm going to no longer be confused when I'm building, when I see a piece of land. I want to go to true industry experts like yourself that can just give me the different perspective of what I can do. That's so powerful. Like you're one in a few.
Thank you.
You're one in a few. And then I don't say that like but you are, because I've talked to other people and it's like, yeah, I see what you're doing, but they're kind of scratching their head. What can we do? And, and then I see you, we looked at a piece of, and you're just, boom, we could do this. We could do it like this. Like, it's awesome. I'm just like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I appreciate you putting me with the right people, right?
That's right. You gotta have the right people.
It's awesome to have someone in your corner.
Yeah.
Someone in your corner that's confident about the plan, even if you aren't.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm gonna compliment you here right now. Like, I came to this office to talk to him last year. Like, hey guys, I think we need to do this new show. I think we need to, and it's like, let's talk to our friends. And we were talking about what different channels could we create and all the things we could do. Like, this entire studio was a idea at some point. And I was like, I kind of got this vision, like, we got to go into this space and we got to go down these rabbits. We didn't know exactly what was going to produce for us or what it would do for us, but like, I just felt like there was a sense we had to do it. And I was kind of already seeing things that maybe I had to kind of get everyone else to buy in on. But I'm really glad because it's bringing out something brand new in Will. It's bringing something brand new out of Brian. It's also elevated everybody. It's also made a tremendous impact on the types of people we're having conversations with, and then the things we're learning. I mean, it's not just so we can be the teachers. It's we're learning a ton. So this is such a great conversation with you, because we're at this place where 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this was just an idea. You talk to people who are homeowners, or you're looking at an empty lot. At some point, it's just an idea. And that idea then comes to fruition, and it becomes something like, oh, wow, we left a mark right here, and that's important.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. You said it all, brother.
Yeah. Well, we know that you have to go answer those $200,000-$300,000 calls.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I can't believe what the time is already. I've
love
had a
it.
blast.
I love it.
I had a great time, Is there anything, CJ, you feel, something we didn't ask you that you feel like, I want to share this?
Well, I think that the idea there is the mindset piece. The mindset piece for people that are interested in investing in properties and development in properties is, yes, you have to have that I can do this mindset. Like, I can go through this just like you did with the studio. But the other piece is, you already said it, which is like having the right people around you. So that's the message I want to leave with people, is just like, connect with the right people, find your tribe, that type of thing.
I like
that. And then go from there,
Find the tribe.
Like, you'd be surprised, Chris Aguilar, all those guys that are multi-million-dollar successful people, they have people in their corner helping them out, encouraging them. Nah, man, you got this. Let me pray for you, brother. All that stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's encouraging. It feels so good, right? When you do have that. It feels comforting.
It does. It does. It's like, man, you're not alone. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
I like to share one last story here, but when I talked to my boy Chris and I told him I did a subject to purchase on my mother-in-law's house, and I told him how I broke everything down, he was so impressed. And to talk to a person that does things, I mean, that guy's done over, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 transactions. Like, it's insane. And for him to be like, whoa, I like that. Like, I didn't see it. Like, it just felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good. That one, it makes me feel like I'm a peon.
You got
in
a guy that was
but-
a millionaire at 21 telling you did a great job.
Right? I was like, trying to reach trying to reach my back, but my muscles are too big. Like,
Yeah, the muscles are too big is a great
That's
cover up for
awesome,
my
bro.
arms are short.
CJ, where can people find you? Like, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions. People want to identify you, ask you questions, what they're able and capable of doing. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Lifehouse SD on Instagram. If you Google Lifehouse Design and Construction, which is like more of our formal name, it will pop up, but you got to type in San Diego. So we made it easier for everybody, and we connected all of our handles to Lifehouse SD.
Got it.
So it's just short, simple. Hey, we're in San Diego. Name of our company's Lifehouse. Boom. You'll find us.
That's awesome, bro.
Awesome.
Again, I cannot thank you enough. I know you got a ton of things going on in your life, and I can't tell you how privileged again and honor we are. And I think I speak for both of us.
This is great.
And you sharing all this wealth of information with our audience. I'm telling you guys, take advantage of this. This guy is phenomenal. He understands what you're able to do. Get the confusion out of the way. Just ask this guy. Don't think like it's an inconvenience. Don't think it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. Just go in there and give this guy a holler.
Questions.
I'm telling you, ask questions. That's
Ask
the beauty
questions.
of it.
Be curious.
Yeah.
Get to the bottom of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know we're certainly going to have you back, especially with all these rules changing with the ADUs. There's got to be more. You're going to have to share some more.
For
so
sure.
we're going to have you on again.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm wearing a pink shirt next time.
Yeah.
All right. We'll switch it up.
Hopefully I have no more granddaughters. You, know what I mean? That's why I wore this.
Pink.
I wear pink. You wear gray.
Well, Will, thank you so much for a great show. CJ, thank you so much for being here today. And for everyone watching, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out some of the other episodes on Friends of Mortgage Heroes. We've had a tremendous, I'll say, stable of guests.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had people in all sorts of walks of life, like real estate law and tax, and we're talking about property management.
Yeah.
We're talking about trust and estate, and some wild stories, some crazy wild stories. So continue watching Friends of Mortgage Heroes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week. And then we're going to see you back again next week with another great guest and probably some surprising stories. They're going to some things we've never heard before. It happens every show, so make sure you tune in and watch that. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yep.
Hey, see you next week.
See ya.